Today I'm going to be maxing out the XP sliders and simming 10 seasons to see what the NFL would look like. Not only have we done that for all ages and all positions, we've also dropped the regression rate, which honestly, does that mean players just simply won't retire? We'll have to find out. Here we are in the draft. Travis Hunter going number 1 overall. Been seeing a lot of Will Johnson here, and I guess the Titans said, hey, we are going to play him two-way. Screw it. We don't care. We don't care if he dies early. Doesn't matter. Of course, Carter at number 2 makes a lot of sense. Sanders at 3, Williams at 4, Pierce at 5, Ward at 6, Walker at 7, Graham at 8, McMillan at 9, and Will Johnson at 10. That's what the top 10 looks like. As far as the Chiefs' actual draft class itself goes, not that good, I'll be honest. Not saying that we're focusing on this team only, but it is going to be a team we focus on a little bit more than any other team, because I would argue that this is the team that most people are kind of curious the most about going within the next 10 years. Will Mahomes get Brady? Will he never even make a Super Bowl again? Who honestly knows? But as far as the objectives for this video today, we're going to be looking at the postseason finale, who obviously makes the playoffs and who wins it all. We'll be looking at the stats on the year, maybe a little bit of regression and progression, and then, of course, the draft. Mainly looking at probably the top kind of 5-10 overalls in the class, because there's way too many teams to be checking out every single team's class. And I was going to max out the draft strength, but I think that's a little overkill. Anyways, if you do end up enjoying this video, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe if you're new. If we hit 300 likes, we'll do the inverse of this. We'll do 0 progression sliders with max regression. I don't know what kind of chaos that's going to be, but we'll have to see. It could be wild. So to start for season 1, the Chiefs roster is an 89 overall. Let's see what that looks like by the end of the season. 94 overall, 5 whole overalls up, which at 89 overall is a crazy, crazy jump. Let's take a look at the stats real quick across the league. I'm not, super focused on just the Chiefs, but looking at these numbers, Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns, 35 for Burrow, 38 for Trevor Lawrence. Sanders, not super good, but the yards are up there. As far as the best touchdown to pick ratio goes, not Darnold. It seems to be Brock Purdy, 41-4, which is a ridiculous ratio. Running back Saquon Barkley still doing his thing at max pace. Jacobs, really good season as well. Mixon, Kenneth, nothing crazy going on outside of that. Barkley look at those numbers, dude. 6.9 yards per carry, with the next highest being Jacobs at 5.3. That's insanity. Looking at receivers, Nakua still doing his thing. As far as averages go, Ayuk sort of the best guy. Christian Watson up there kind of makes sense, kind of a high flyer, but getting to 1,000 yards, I don't know if I ever see that happening. Blocking, do we care about blocking? Probably not. Defensively, sacks, 21.5 for Garrett, 16 for Walker, that's a great year. Hutchinson at 15.5. The Steelers cooking up as they do. 8 interceptions for 2 different linebackers, TJ Edwards and Dre Greenlaw. Really good stuff there. And then there's that. Let's take a look at the MVP, which goes to Brock Purdy. Offensive Player of the Year, Allen. Defensive Player of the Year, Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Etienne. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Abdul Carter. So the orange teams are on the come up, it seems. Then we go to the NFC, where Barkley wins Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Dre Greenlaw, with Edwards number 2. Niners had Fred Warner there as well, which, you almost argue, okay, Dre Greenlaw and Warner at the top. Does Edwards not deserve it then if they're very close? Edwards is alone up here, meaning the help is not the same. Rookie of the Year, though, goes to Hampton. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Tuimoloau. I think I butchered that a little bit, but close enough. At least I don't have to do another one. At least I don't have to say that name again. Most likely. Let's go to the Super Bowl. See who's in it. See what the playoff bracket looks like. It is the Jets. What do you mean the Jets? What do you mean the Jets? The Jets just won a Super Bowl. I get it. We have 300% XP sliders, but I didn't expect something that crazy this early on. Who's the quarterback for the Jets? Hello? There's no way they just won a Super Bowl with Desmond Ridder. We got to see this. We've got to see it. What is happening? Like I said, I expected some things to be a little different. I didn't expect it to be this crazy. Oh, maybe it was Rodgers. Maybe they had Rodgers for another year and then he retired. That might have been it. So now we know, Jets, you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. Why would you do this to yourself? Rodgers wins you a Super Bowl ring and retires. But now it's too late. You're letting him go. You can't backtrack. I mean, you probably could because it hasn't actually happened yet, but you can't do it. Wow, I can't believe that happened though. But let's go to the draft. So after the first season, Caleb Williams, 91 overall. Those XP sliders go crazy. Across the league itself, though, you have 4 99 overall quarterbacks now, which I think most of them were pretty close. They're pretty close. Hurts, Purdy, who's a Ram, CJ Stroud, Williams, Love, Daniels are all getting pretty close to that as well. Is there any look at McCarthy, 86 overall already. Running back, what do we got? Robinson, almost a 99 overall. CMC, Jacobs, Breece Hall, even. Some really high overall players on Marion. I mean, he's almost, he's in the 90s already after his rookie year. Yeah, the team, the league is on the come up very quickly. Laporta's almost a 99 overall. That's really quick. The draft is concluded, and it's a pretty standard draft, except for this 81 overall guard, Roy Loud. Those ratings are loud. I'd be putting him at tackle. Got the finesse of a champion. Power move, not so much. Power blocking, not so much. He's a guard. I want that power blocking up for guards. You're playing tackle. I don't care. Here's an updated look at the squad. Of course, everyone's basically in the 90s already. It's obviously not going to be oh, you're guaranteed to be the greatest of all time, but yeah, it definitely helps. It definitely helps. Some guys that would have been regressed really hard by now, they haven't because they aren't regressing hard and they're progressing faster. 16-1. The team's now at 96 overall. Let's take a look at those stats. I should have probably looked at the playoff bracket itself. I was just so last season so surprised by the Jets winning that I was like, huh? What do you mean they're in the Super Bowl? Of course, Mahomes breaks the touchdown record with 57 touchdowns. As far as touchdown pick ratio goes, McCarthy's still going to win that thing. But it's a crazy number. Should win MVP. 57 touchdowns is pretty hard to beat. And then I don't know what the hell happened to Barkley, but his yards per run dropped and his yards in general dropped. The champ of the league right now seems to be Robinson with 5.7 yards per carry. Receiving, Nakua still on the top of the game with Ayuk still at the top of the game for the averages. Defensively, sack totals maxing out at 25 for Greg Rousseau. An NFL record was smashed. And then Sauce Gardner with 6 picks. Do we think that Strahan's record is actually safe because of the way the NFL has kind of evolved? Teams are getting the ball out quicker. Teams are throwing the ball shorter, it seems. Teams are being more tactical, right? I feel like the age of the deep ball is obviously not dead. But I feel like there was more classic deep shots back in the day than there are now. Not back in the day, but even 10, 15 years ago. But am I crazy to think that? I feel like the NFL has kind of evolved, at least across the front, into a shorter, quicker, more efficient way of doing things, which is how it should go, right? The efficiency should be going up as time goes on. You get all these, all this knowledge from the past. Mahomes, MVP, as we expected. As far as all these other awards go, we're already not going to care too much because we're not going to know any of these players. And I looked at the first ones on the offensive and defensive rookie side of the ball because they were, real life players. But now it's just I don't know who the hell is Brooks. Who's that guy? But let's take a look at the playoff bracket. Any new teams you wouldn't have expected? Seattle, no, not on the NFC. AFC, though, however, absolutely. The Patriots and the Browns have made their way, especially as the Patriots is the number 3 seed winning their division. Very impressive. Let's see if any of those teams can win it all, as obviously we're trying to look for things that stand out. I can't believe that salary cap stands out from the evenness. It's at negative 41. How do you come out of that? And then, of course, doesn't matter. 100%, 300% sliders. You're going to get a damn Chiefs-Eagles rematch again. And the Chiefs do win, so they get sort of their revenge. They're just basically tied at this point. But let's take a look at these overalls, because they're damn near a 99 now. Mahomes, obviously, 99 overall. Rashee Rice is a 99. Of course they drafted an X-Factor tight end. Why wouldn't they? He's a blocker, though, isn't he? No? He's okay. I thought with the size, the archetype would have been blocker. Nope, he's not. Left guard is gone. He retired, it seems. Looking at the defense. Drew Tranquill is an 84 overall. I've never see that happen. Team's looking good. Justin Reed's 88 overall. He's looking good. We now have a total of 6 99 overall quarterbacks, with Caleb right at the cusp. Same with Jalen Hurts. Daniels 97, Sanders 95-ish, Love 95-ish. I mean, a bunch of guys in the 90s. Running back, a bunch of them. We have at least 5, very close to be 8. By the end of the season, maybe 10. Fullbacks, even they're on the come up, not by much, but, some guys in the high 70s, low 80s. Wide receivers, you got 6 on your way, is probably another 10 by the end of the year. Tight end, not really being affected as much. I say that, but Gunnar Helms, 90s. Okay, maybe it's just the tight ends were a little bit on the lower side, and now they're starting to catch up. I do not want to take a look at the Bears. Offensive line, still no 99 overalls other than Creed Humphrey, it seems. Trey Smith might get there. Sewell will be there, but offensive line doesn't seem like the sliders are doing as much, which is why we always bump them by a lot, because it feels like O-line sliders, maybe it's because of the archetypes, and there's so many different ratings you can upgrade, is a bit on the slower side. It's the slowest position to upgrade, in my opinion, other than, the special teams, fullback, whatever. But yeah, the teams are, they're keeping on growing. A lot of guys in the 90s that only just entered the league, so we're going to see a pretty big baseline of 90-plus soon. Back in the draft, and we see a tight end. Really weird, because he's 79 speed, but he's a really high overall. I mean, he's actually a really interesting build, because if he was a bit faster, he'd actually be one of the best tight ends we've ever seen. Really good truck move, good stiff arm, good catch, solid route running, really good run block. It's just, he's 79 speed. All of that is irrelevant at 79 speed, right? It doesn't matter what your ratings are. Yes, you can be good, but your top end isn't as good as any other guy over 85 speed, really, because those guys can develop into what this guy is, but he can't develop into what they are, which is a deep threat. And then we also have the highest overall being a safety. Very interesting build, because he's slow as hell, but 95 hit power, undersized for linebackers. So I guess you just have yourself a really slow safety that will kill someone. The fact that Wanya Morris is an 85 overall tells you all you need to know about these sliders. This is a man that will never develop for you in your franchise, no matter how many 3,000 rushing yard, 5,000 passing yard seasons you put up, yet he is here. Looking at the defense, I mean, Justin Reed's an 88 overall still, and he's 3,000 years old. He's 30 years old. Same difference. Put a couple of zeros at the end. That's how that works. Chiefs back in the playoffs, who would have thought? 96 overall. I mean, I will say, obviously, these teams can't afford to keep everybody, but the team haven't hit a 99 overall yet, which I would have thought maybe would have happened by now. Looking at Josh Allen, 49 touchdowns, 50 for Love. 50-5 is a ridiculous ratio. Probably MVP. It's going to be hard to tell, because it does have a good 200-300 yards less than Josh Allen. That's more than 2 to 3, okay? But, math, it's tough. Looking at the other numbers, though, pretty much every quarterback's, up there. A lot of touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. Rushing, Kenneth Walker, apparently the guy in the league that is the best. Bijan, though, the best average as far as touchdowns in general. Mixon, Walker, and A-Chain tying for 20 each. Wan'Dale Robinson, the number 1 wide receiver in the league, with Palmer being the number 1 yards per catch guy. Wan'Dale right behind him, though. I know the average a little bit, but obviously more volume. You're likely going to have that happen. Who gave it the most sacks? Caleb McGarry. Will Campbell at 19. That's crazy. Greg Rousseau one-ups himself, and 28 sacks now. Oh my, this guy cannot be stopped. Morrison with 9 interceptions. Greg Rousseau is like, you know what? I think someone can catch me. I'm just going to bump those numbers a little bit. Josh Allen does win MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, obviously Rousseau. Then on the NFC side, you have the same. All right. And then Wan'Dale Robinson. Remember when I said I only need to say his name once? I'm going to keep true to that. I'm not going to say it again. But let's take a look at who is in the Super Bowl. Kind of annoyed at the Chiefs here. I like the randomness that the first season was the Jets winning it all. Be nice to see another one like that. And, okay, Commanders. In fairness, oh my God, the freaking Chiefs. I don't know how they're keeping this team alive. Negative 102. That's unbelievable. And the Commanders win. So we've had the Jets, Chiefs, and Commanders. 2 of those teams not expected to do it. Obviously, the Commanders, in real life, they kind of had a chance. In-game, not super often, right? So that's pretty good. Brewer went up from an, 83, I think, to a 94. Is this the same guy? Did he go up 4 speed? Wait, how? Wait, I'm so confused. No, this isn't the same guy. I'm thinking of the guy that was through the draft. That was 79 speed. Never mind. I lost my way for a moment, but I am back. I've returned. Worthy, damn near 99 overall himself, which, I mean, that tells you, hey, some of these other guys are probably well into the 99s. Defensively, Karloff is still not even close to a 99, and then Reed, 87 overall, still really just not regressing. The whole front page now for quarterbacks is 99, almost the same for running back. Wide receiver, pretty much the same as well. Tight end, definitely not. O-line, any other new ones? Trey, Alt is right up there. Left end, pretty good. Right end, not as good. DT's way up there. Cornerback, I would suspect to be probably the highest of the bunch, right? Yeah, at least on defense. I mean, everyone's looking really good. It's kind of hard to blur the lines of who's even actually good anymore because everyone's so maxed. All right, we got some crazy overalls now. An 82 overall, Brian Thomas, running back Brian Thomas, 99 juke move. I still don't know if that's generational. I would consider him a generational player, but EA, when they have those guys, they like to put him at star. Well, I'm wrong. Never mind. Let's take a look at the other guy. There was another guy in the 80s, Mr. Campbell, cornerback Campbell. Kevin McLeod, 23 years old. Pretty damn good. I mean, I really don't see many generational corners these days, so it's hard to tell. Superstar Dev, yeah, I mean, Superstar 81 overall, would you not consider that generational? EA's definition of generational is physically an X factor that's a high in overall, but I would still call that guy generational. Somehow this team is still going, but operating at like a crazy loss. They're like at a negative 108 now. I don't know how they continue to do this. This is some like U.S. government level like deficit operation going on here, but cool, I guess. We love a good, a little evasion. We love a little evasion around here. Oh, I didn't. Okay, now the offensive line is gone. In fairness, they've lost their center and guard, but still, you know, they got the majority of the guys that mainly matter in Madden, at least. Yeah, negative 97 million, yet they're still operating with the team they've got. I mean, sure, Mahomes does it again. 57 touchdowns. I mean, those are some crazy numbers. Penix, way up there out of nowhere. What's his overall like? Yeah, only on 300%. The highest I've ever seen him get to was like an 84 overall, X Factor as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's just some things you can't do without the XP sliders up. Allen's unbelievable. 45 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's got to be MVP. I mean, Love's season was arguably better than Mahomes, right? 50-5 versus 57-12. And Josh Allen still won it. And Josh Allen had an even better year. Rushing averages, number 1 goes to Hampton. Kind of the same kind of guys at the top. Keon Coleman, look at him go. 1,700 yards. He's a 98 overall, and he never even got to X Factor. That's wild. It's kind of crazy. Let's take a look at the defense now. Did Rousseau one-up himself again? He didn't. Wow, nowhere even close. 17th for him. 17 sacks, and it was not 17th. 98 overall, looking ridiculous, but yeah, nowhere near that record-breaking performance that he kept setting on his own record. Stingley at 7 picks, kicking, I mean, respectfully, who cares? Penix wins MVP. Wait, I got to see these rushing numbers. I kind of only, he had a good season, but I didn't really pay attention too much because I was like, well, clearly this is going to be Allen or Mahomes. But apparently, I don't know why I'm not just going to the Falcons here. Apparently, Penix had himself a year. Now, to be fair, touchdown pick ratio is really good too, and then he added 7 on the ground. So, yeah, I mean, it is a really good season. I don't know why I kind of brushed off 49-7 because 45-3 looks good. I mean, both look good. All right, number 1 seed Chiefs. Can they win another one? Hopefully not. Hopefully it's some random team like the Raiders are in here. It's going to be the Ravens and the Eagles. Super interesting. I mean, if we follow the trend of weird team expected, like we are now, Year 5 might be a crazy random team like the freaking Titans. But you can see the money, though. I mean, they went from negative 90-some mil to negative 3, so I guess I can see that they're making it. I don't know how, but they are. The Eagles win a Super Bowl. Got a couple of 80s. Oh, my Lord. Actually, a lot of 80s. Several 80 overalls. This guy's an 81 overall, but he's like no speed. 84 speed, block shed, man coverage, zone coverage is good. If this is a generational, I mean, I have seen like 7 players better at the position every single draft. I don't care that he's an X factor. I don't care what his overall is. I've literally seen like 5 to 7 better linebackers every single draft than him. Does it show the change direction? Only 75. I mean, that's just, it's not special. The dev is special, but that's about it. Anderson, Randy Anderson, once again, not really a special player, just a high overall. Offensive line is going to be pretty hard to find someone physically special. It's just really the safety again. Really, they kind of like mixed up the order on me, I think. Thought it was the guard that was the second on the list. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Weathersby, 81 overall. I mean, that does look really good, right? 84 for all the pass block ratings, and then 85 for finesse. And then the final one, which is cornerback, 80 overall. 6'4", all right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a generational player, but obviously he's only going to be star dev. Not going to check him, but star, superstar, probably not X Factor. See those builds all the time. Rashee Rice has so much XP that he actually has 3 upgrade points that he can't use yet. Taking a look at the defense now. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not looking as good as it used to. I don't know where the hell Reed went, but I guess they've moved on. Leo Chanel's a 97 overall. The one thing I do want to see, though, is I'm kind of curious to see what kind of like the older veteran running backs are looking like. I don't think regression can be protected on those guys that much. We've seen it before. They just aren't. So Barkley, 32 years old, 92 overall. McCaffrey, anyways, 33 years old, 91 overall. Warren, Chuba Hubbard, 90 at 30 years old. So they're not regressing as hard, obviously, but it's still just Father Time, no matter what your sliders are on, is completely undefeated. Looking at these 99s, I mean, you have to scroll down now to get to them. Tight end, not the same, O-line. So, I mean, we're looking at some positions here that just aren't developing as quickly as others. So you can make that kind of a judgment yourself. Hey, maybe wide receiver stats, you can put, 10% lower than the rest. Quarterback, 10% lower than the rest. Edge rushers, corners, 10% lower than the rest, whereas O-line needs to be definitely a lot higher. 10-7 Chiefs, they are, I wouldn't say on the come down, but they're definitely not on the come up. They're in the playoffs, though. That's all that matters. Once you're in, anything can happen. Let's take a look at the quarterback numbers. It seemed like Penix was the best. Not sure what happened here, the QBs, but they really regressed hard. Let's take a look at Desmond Ridder. He was like a 70 overall. Even he's an 85 overall, never getting higher than normal dev. Wow. That's crazy. That's kind of wild. But yeah, very mediocre quarterback numbers here. Rushing numbers, number 1 yards per carry guy. Realistically, is Kenneth Walker tied with ETN. Receivers, 1,700 yards for Ben Lowry. The best yards per catch guy is Radley. I'm surprised to see Keon Coleman this high, though. He's obviously not the fastest player in the world. Sacks, a couple guys in the 20 range. Rousseau, come on, get back up there. He is at 17.5, but not quite record-breaking. Jalen Carter, who's now a Patriots, 17.5 sacks from likely the interior. A.J. Terrell with 6 interceptions. And we'll take a look at the MVP, which belongs to Penix. Back-to-back MVPs. All right. Interesting enough. Micah Parsons, Ben Lowry, and then on the other side you had Jalen Carter and whatnot. But let's see if the Chiefs can get back to the Super Bowl. I'm hoping not. All right. Let's see. Is there any special teams in here that we wouldn't expect? Panthers. Okay, the Panthers on the other side. Falcons, sort of. And then you have the AFC being super boring. Steelers, Chargers, sort of. Maybe. Raiders number 1, actually. I didn't even notice that. They're number 1 seed. Sadly, not going to be a new team winning a Super Bowl. It's going to be either the Bills or the Cowboys. Weirdly enough, I'm kind of hoping for the Cowboys. I haven't seen them win Super Bowls lately. It's going to be the Bills. Okay, so nothing really changing. So what I'm seeing here is, even with the XP slider bump, sure, you're seeing some newer teams kind of enter the mix, but it still is just the top-tier teams doing their thing. Oh, damn, 84 overall for Mr. Moats. Really good player. I mean, that's not a superstar, who isn't? I mean, he's literally, like, in the 90s almost. I know that's not true at all, but, like, after half a season, he will be. That's really high of an overall. And then we have an 82 overall right end, Mr. Joshua Knox. 6'1", though, which is weird, but super fast. 84 finesse. Am I crazy to think that this isn't an X Factor? Am I crazy to think it? Apparently so. 99 overall for a lot of different players on this team. I mean, even Pacheco, he's on a 94 overall, hasn't regressed too hard. He's, 30 years old. Let's take a look at the defense now, where this team has definitely been struggling for the most part on Yeah, I mean, 95, 96. You got some good players still, though, but compared to the other teams, definitely not as good. I mean, let's even see the Seahawks, 97 defense, but 97 overall, the Chiefs are still keeping their name in the hat. Almost that 99 overall. I'm kind of curious to see if any other teams have made it to that point. I feel like the Chiefs are just, one of those teams that can, whereas the others can't. Maybe not, actually. I mean, look at all these overalls. 99 for the Bills. Wow, okay, so... yeah, every team in the league is averaging out at like a 95, 96 overall, which is kind of crazy. Mahomes, number 3 for quarterbacks. I can't believe Ritter's just up there, though. 49-4. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, 49-6. It's a close call between the two. I would probably give it to Mahomes, but I mean, the completion percentage, the passer rating, the yards per attempt, higher from Joe Burrow. So unless there's some rushing numbers in there, I think he might win it. Bijan Robinson looking still really good with 1446. Highest average receiver, Shakir at 1,200 yards with very high average. Sack totals, 21, 22. I feel like the defenses are getting so good that it's actually affecting the receivers quite a bit. Aiden Hutchinson, who is a Raider, 20 sacks. It'd be kind of crazy, all the talks of Lions fans are like, please bring in Myles Garrett. Please bring in Max Crosby. Instead, they send Hutchinson to the Raiders. It's like, that is not what I thought we meant when we said team those two up. That is not what we meant. Joe Burrow does win MVP. Kind of expected that. Lamar Jackson, Aiden Hutchinson. I like to see that they're players we know. And then, Lawson. Like, why? Come on. Let me live. Let's take a look now at the Super Bowl winner. We didn't look at the playoff brackets, who was in there, but can we get a new team, please? This is season 6 now, I believe, of our 10-year sim, and it's the Saints. I was going to say, they march in. They did march in. The number 1 seed Saints. Other side was the Patriots. 0. 21-0. It is so rare to actually see a full-on shutout. And that's exactly, look at what happened to the Super Bowl. That was nowhere near close, yet they put up, half the points. So I did not want to go into the Super Bowl. Let's see. Can the Chiefs win another one? Hoping not. I hope this thing says L. I want to see a new team. I want XP sliders to mean something here. And nope, the Chiefs do win, unfortunately. So we've only seen 2 kind of unexpected ones, if you will. The Jets and the Commanders. Did the Commanders actually even win that game? I actually can't remember. I know they made it, but I don't think they even... No, they did win it. Okay, so Jets and Commanders win. That's 33% of the Super Bowl as being an unexpected winner. Another pretty damn high overall, 83 overall. Should we do another simming 30 seasons or something? I'm thinking we should do another simming 30 seasons, because I'm really liking the draft aspect the most out of this entire thing. For me, that's what I'm looking forward to every single time we sim a season, is what kind of crazy draft players can we see. Running back Craig Shirley, 81 overall. Pretty balanced player. Change of direction's a low, though. What I would consider to be a generational running back in-game would be, something in the 80s for juke, spin, truck, stiff arm, 92 speed plus, and then 90-ish change of direction. See so many running backs similar to this. Maybe not as high with a stiff arm and juke move, or a truck move, but as far as change direction, we see that all the time. It's not really that special. What do? I guess the money caught up. Mahomes is gone. Looks like we're not following a playoff team anymore. Oh, no. They decided to move on from Mahomes, who was putting up insane numbers. Where is he? You haven't seen him retire. It's way too early to be retiring. It's like 8 in the morning. Lol, dude. Let's take a look at Mahomes. Where is he? Wait, did he retire? No, I was about to say. He's a Buccaneer. He's a 99 overall, 35. Maybe they have a script they go off of. He's like, oh, he's 35. He's going to regress and retire soon. It's like, oh, wait. The sliders are up. I forgot. Look how many 99s there are in the league. Oh my, let's take a look at these older running backs. Oh, we're seeing death. They might, to be fair, they could have just straight up retired though. Right? If Pacheco's a 92 overall 31, I can't imagine he's going to regress lower than 85. So yeah, I'd say most of these guys are going to retire as 85 overall, 34, 35-year-olds. So fair enough. Fullback, it's taken a long time to get there, but you're seeing some guys in the 80s. Obviously, Casey's a little bit of an outlier because he's a superstar. 28-year-old, no run blocking fullback. He's terrible. We're going to be honest, he's terrible. It's just, what are you doing? Are you a running back? Because you don't even look good as a running back. You're not as good as a blocker, not good as a running back. It's rough. It's rough. As far as tight ends go, though, look at all the best tight ends. There's no speed. Like, none of them. They're all real-life players if they're fast. Everyone that's not a real-life player is slow as hell. Like, 84 is the highest speed out of, like, the top 15. You know, obviously, we're talking about players that are CPU-generated. Offensive line, the guard positions on the come-up, 499s. Left end is obviously looking great, whereas right end, it's good, but not great. DT, 99 flush across the board there. Middle linebackers up there, too. What about cornerbacks? Almost all 99. Safeties. I'm telling you, safety's kind of hard to develop. So free safety's harder to develop than strong safety, it seems. Or there's just more strong safeties. 5-12 without Mahomes. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I want to see what he did like for the Buccaneers. I still would have expected better than that, though. This Chiefs scheme is really, really good. Looking at the best quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson, where did his name come from? He's a 99 overall, but I haven't seen him on the top list. I don't think, at least. Let's see if Mahomes is anywhere. Is Mahomes? Damn. Okay, so we are not using the Buccaneers scheme anytime soon. 29 touchdowns, 6 picks. That's pretty bad. I mean, this is a good indicator of like what schemes are kind of good. So Falcons seems to be pretty consistent. Colts, I would have never expected that. So maybe not. Maybe not. Packers is always going to be a consistent one. Running backs, Kenneth Walker has taken over the reins for Saquon by far. Robinson's up there too, but it just doesn't have quite the volume as far as average catching goes. Parker Washington, what's his overall? Because that's a completely random name drop. Yeah, 88 overall. It's funny, if you play at least 5 years in the league, your lowest overall is like 85 plus, which is obviously because of the sliders. 4 guys with 20 sacks allowed. Rousseau, I don't even know if he's still around. He is, but at 15.5, Trayvon Walker is up there with 20. Michael Williams with 20. Scorton with 19.5. Hutchinson with 19.5. Bosa with 19.5. Keys with 7 picks. But the one thing that is for certain is that record for sacks is not going to be touched, right? That's career. 28 sacks for Rousseau in a year. That is wild. Rice with the most touchdowns at 27, though, which is pretty cool. But yeah, very, very bad decision for them to get rid of Mahomes. MVP goes to Gary McBride. It's like their first MVP, I believe, where it's not, quote-unquote, a real player, quote-unquote, an established player. But let's take a look at the playoff bracket, see if there's any new teams in there. I mean, obviously, someone took our spot. You have the Colts, rather new team. The Jets are back. Browns, Raiders. So, honestly, the only team that you wouldn't really expect to be, bad next year would be kind of like the Ravens or, next couple of years. Every other team, that would be a crazy shakeup in the AFC. Like, that is really surprising. Whereas in the NFC, yeah, you have the Bears at number 1, but you have the Eagles, the Cowboys, Seahawks, and Packers, all teams that are kind of, they compete for a spot every year. Falcons, Saints. I mean, the AFC is looking crazy, though. Look at this. 1 through 7, only one of them you'd expect to be there. We have the Jaguars and Seahawks. Kind of hoping it's the Jaguars one. I've seen the Seahawks win a couple here and there, but Jaguars are, like, never there. So it'd be interesting to see them do it. Can they do it? They cannot. They lose by 1. It's still an unexpected one, right? Seahawks, it's not a team that I'd have high hopes to win it all anytime soon, but they could make the playoffs. They could do some damage, so it's not like, once again, like the Titans. That would be a complete left field. What's with these all, like, super high overall linebackers? This guy looks like a truly generational player, though. This guy would be like, okay, yeah, I can see it. Press is terrible, as most linebackers do. Its man coverage is terrible, too. But very athletic, good change of direction, high overall. I don't know if I see generational here either, though. I guess I do. X Factor, man. Every single time I'm getting it wrong. The team's a 99 overall, which is crazy to me because unless they got a new QB, they are lacking at that position. 82 overall quarterback, somehow a 99 overall. That's kind of wild. Maybe the offensive line was built up a little bit more. But, yeah, I'm surprised by that. No more Karlaftis as well, but they're better off for it, it seems. Free safety's low, quarterback's low. I still don't feel great about this team because, that QB position, man. In the playoffs at 13-4, okay, maybe I underestimated this guy, or underestimated the scheme anyways. Really good year for Tracy, so yeah, I kind of expected to do well when you have a season like that. The NFL MVP, Trevor Lawrence. Could it be Trevor Lawrence? I think so. I would expect it to be him. Kenneth Walker's still around. He is, but you can tell he has regressed to a state where he is no longer that guy, but he is very good. Hampton, back to being, kind of up there. Yards per catch, it is, wow, a bunch of names up there, but Townsend. Sack total is 21 for Randall. I don't know why I said Randall like that. Randall. Duval, 24.5, not for Rousseau. That would have been a record breaker. God, please, Green Bay, get someone like this, dude. I don't care if it's a DT. We need edge more, but still, get a DT. Morrison, I really want to see this guy's career. This guy has been up there in the top tier picks list a couple times now. Oh, sorry, it's been a little while, though. 9, 5, and 7. All right, looking at the playoffs, we've got the Jaguars at the 1, and a lot of the other teams kind of back to where they expected. Jaguars and Browns for sure, not teams you'd expect to be there. Colts and Dolphins, sort of, but obviously Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, you expected. NFC side, kind of the same. You know, you expect all those teams to at least have a chance to be in the playoffs. Maybe not as consistently for the Falcons or Seahawks, but all those other teams, you know, right up there with teams you'd expect to be there. And it's the Niners and Ravens, anyways, with a rematch of the Super Bowl. I really wish it was someone different. There was so many options in there. Could have been like the Colts or something, but no, it's going to be the Niners and the Ravens. Super fun rematch. I mean, so many rematches here in like modern recent history with the Ravens winning it all. No 80 overalls this time, but we got ourselves a quarterback. Now, 79 overall, Mr. Franklin. He's normal dev, though. He's fast as hell. You'd love to have him, but you'd be so devastated. Like, all that speed, great ratings, throw power's up there, but he's normal. Like, he could have been that plus hidden dev. Maybe he's a superstar. Maybe he's an X-Factor. Who knows? But they still have themselves a really good player. And then, of course, Mickey, 79 overall. Very strong, solid player all around. Tracy is a star dev. Now he's 85 overall. Rice is still a 99 overall. Worthy, 98. Tight end's been 99 overall. Will be a 99 overall for a while. Little surprised, though, they didn't have like a bunch of points banked up, but still very good overall there. And then defensively, defense has actually been on the come up, kind of arguably better than the offense at a lot of positions. And yeah, I mean, really just need new DTs and you're fine. I don't even know who the hell Clinton is, but he's playing DT too. Even if he's an edge rusher, don't care. It's not a pretty one, but the Chiefs have made it back to the playoffs. 9-8. There's a chance. Ron Tracy, 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Taking a look at the rest of the league here. 49-10 for Ewers. Haven't seen him come up. Burrow's a Niner. Sanders, 47-5, still a Giant. Kind of hard to tell who's going to win MVP here. I would guess Sanders. That's who I would guess. It's kind of the fun part now is just guessing. Running backs are not on the up, right? These guys have just fallen off completely. Looking at the running backs, though, for yards per carry, Robinson's just been consistently one of those top guys. Judkins with 19 touchdowns. Keon Coleman nearing 2,000 yards, but no one's done it yet. 18.1 yards per catch as well, so he's the highest there as well. Sacks, a couple of guys in the 20s. Defensively, sack totals. What do you got? Nolan at 28, tying Rousseau. Are they going to say that he's the best now or not? Obviously, Rousseau is not even our player anyways, but I'm still invested. Nope, they're not going to give it to him. They're going to say that Rousseau has it, which, I mean, I think he might have had 28.5 anyways, but still, he's holding on for dear life. Let's take a look at the MVP of the league, which is Lamar Jackson. Could not factor in for those rushing stats, apparently. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Keon Coleman. Defensive Player of the Year, obviously Walter Nolan. And then on the NFC side, Wan'Dale Robinson's back with, again, I remember, oh, you're only going to have to say his name once. Yeah, are you sure about that? Let's take a look at the playoff bracket, see if any new teams are in there, kind of unexpected teams. Kind of the same old for the AFC side. The NFC side, you've got the Panthers, but kind of just the same teams. I'm trying to think of like all the different team names, but like for the AFC side, haven't really seen the Broncos, haven't seen the Titans. You know, where are those two? Like they're just not there at all. And then on the NFC side, there's got to be a lot of teams that we're just not thinking of. Like the Cardinals, I don't think they made it in there, did they? Some random teams. I mean, let's see. Let's see if there's any new teams in there. Ones that we're not expecting, at least in the Madden sense even. It is the Niners and freaking Ravens, man. Please, some sort of originality. That's all I ask. I just want something new. Give me Titans, Panthers. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just, that's all I want. That's all I ask for. And the Ravens win. All right, on to the final season. Head to the draft, see if there's any crazy draft picks. Take one more look at, kind of the overview of the NFL and head into that final year. Ooh, mid-draft in the NFL here today. Not even like really that many fast players either. 78 overall is the highest. Dennis Kitchens, 6'4", though. He is 6'4", so he is special. But yeah, I mean, we had some drafts where there was multiple 80s. Can't even get one. Yeah, that 6'4" corner is ridiculous. But yeah, not the best work, unfortunately. Quarterbacks, most of them are in the 99s. Like, who is the lowest? Like, they're so high overalls that, like, teams' backups are better than a lot of the team's real-life starters based on overall alone. Running backs falling off a little bit, but it's still obviously ridiculously high. Got a couple of fullbacks in the 90s now. Looking at wide receiver, I think a bunch of 99s, across the board here. Just so many. I mean, look at how far down the board it is. But we're almost halfway through the page, and we're in the 90s still. There's like 40 guys that are in the 90s. Tight ends, almost all 99. Left tackle, still, kind of struggling, but it's not all about the top. It's about the fact that, like, the average is, high 80s, low 90s. So you're going to get that crazy numbers with those XP sliders, obviously. Fullback, they're kind of not looking so good. Right end also wasn't really looking super good, but they're kind of on the come up. Defensive tackle, a bunch of 99s. I mean, look at how far the 99s go. That's like 20 players. Did not expect to see that. Left out, nowhere near that. Middle linebacker, got a couple of 99s. Right out, only 4 or 5. 3 or 4 anyways. Corners, a bunch of them. Free safety, a few of them. Strong safety, a lot of them. A ton of them. What about kicker punter? We haven't really looked at that too much. Any 99 kick power guys? Multiple, actually. Oh, Porter, but he was drafted like that. Stephenson also drafted like that, it seems. Some pretty good kickers there. Punter, 99 punter for accuracy and kick power. Stonehouse almost got there as well. Childress. Yeah, everyone's benefiting from those XP sliders. Who would have thought? No playoffs for the final season is diabolical. But let's take a look at the stats anyways. See what that bracket looks like. But kind of the moral of the story here is the good teams are just going to be good. They're going to be good no matter what the sliders are. No one's really going to catch up to them. Maybe you get some extra teams in the running, but for the most part, kind of the same teams are still at the top. Same teams kind of winning it all, Robinson's still one of the best yards per carry guys. So I don't know if it's Robinson or if it's just the scheme, but the Falcon scheme is good. Look at 97 overall, X Factor 32. So yeah, I mean, you bank up those points, you have that regression low, you can stick around for a long, long time, obviously. Marvin Harrison Jr., haven't seen his name dropped. Best yards per catch guy is going to be Stringer. Blocking, sack totals, 23 for the Cardinals and Saints tackles. It's the highest number we've seen yet, I believe. Pass rush, sacks, Scorton, 25, and he's in the record books now. Top 5 all-time seasons. Interceptions, 5 for Phillips. We've seen the picks drop a little bit as well. Maybe that's because the quarterbacks are so good. The offenses are so efficient and good that that's just the case. The Jets have themselves an MVP in De'Aaron Stockton. Judkins wins Offensive Player of the Year. And then Will Anderson, nice name drop, wins Defensive. Marvin Harrison Jr., Offensive Player of the Year. Scorton, Defensive Player of the Year. For the final season, let's take a look at the bracket. Any new teams? Jaguars, Jets, Titans in the 2, Cardinals on the other side. Nope, the Panthers, both are 2 seed. I just said I wanted Titans, Panthers. They're both the 2 seed. Could you imagine? How would that even be physically possible? In general, for those two teams to meet up, which they don't. Jets, Packers, that would have been a crazy one like any time in the last 2 seasons. But yeah, for that to happen, especially in the final season, that would have been ridiculous. Packers, Jets, what do we got? Who's going to win it? I'm kind of hoping for the Jets. First and last season, it would have been kind of insane. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I just don't see it. Did win MVP, though, so you never know. And nope, it is the Packers. So let's take a recap of the league history. Let's see what we've got. So you have the Packers winning a Super Bowl over the Jets. You have the Ravens winning over the Niners. The Ravens winning over the Niners again. The Seahawks winning over the Jaguars. The Chiefs winning over the Saints. The Bills winning over the Cowboys. The Eagles winning over the Ravens. The Commanders winning over the Bills. The Chiefs beating the Eagles, and then the Jets beating the Eagles. So a lot of the same kind of teams. Eagles were in a lot, Ravens were in a lot, Bills were in a decent bit. But as far as unexpected winners goes, it was 3 teams, which is, I mean, it's better than no teams. 3 teams that you kind of wouldn't have expected to win it. Seahawks, Commanders, and of course the Jets. So 30% of the Super Bowls were unexpected after putting on the XP sliders that high. Is that really sufficient enough to be like, yeah, it really affected the league? I don't know if I can say that, because if we were to sim 10 regular seasons, I'd imagine there's one or two that sneak in there that you wouldn't expect, right? Mr. Mahomes is the number one legacy guy, at least of recent. Of course, Brady would be number one for sure. Barkley, anyone, once again, that we wouldn't have expected? I mean, I guess some, real-life drafted players. Keon Coleman over 20,000. Not really. Wandale, that's one for sure we'd not expect. 18,004 is ridiculous. Penix, 17,000. Definitely would not have expected that either. Who knows what happens in real life. Those are pretty much the numbers there. Let's take a look at career stats. Can we see some numbers across the league? Herbert, 60,000. Wow, this is really slow to click, though. This is really slow. Okay, I'm just going to look at Wandale Robinson then. Let's see what his numbers look like if he's even still here. He is 14,000 yards. He actually passed up Neighbors. I get he's played longer, but even if Neighbors had 2 more seasons, he would have not been as high as Neighbors. So unless Neighbors somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't work like that. I think that's only for like team records, whereas the stats do follow them no matter where they play. Wandale, definitely the kind of surprise here of this kind of sim situation. But anyways, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you are new. If you're not new, really appreciate your support here on the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PK plays for non-Madden content. Been doing some Batman's things. I had one up yesterday. Probably have another episode up Monday, I imagine. But also, like I said, throw in the likes if you guys want to see the inverse of this, where we have a regression on max XP on minimum. Be very interesting to see what happens there. Instead of everyone being in the 95 range, everyone's going to be like 70s, 80s maybe, or lower. Because, like, what does 0 mean? Does 0 actually mean you gain physically 0 XP? Because if that's the case, then maybe we can't do it. Maybe we have to put it on like 50 or something. I don't know. But if you have any other ideas you'd like to see kind of lived out in Madden, you don't want to do it yourself, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe we shall feature your comment on the video. I don't know the order of today's videos. You would have seen Patriots playoffs either earlier today or soon to be. And then if you remember, we have a members only rebuild a little bit later today as well, with a rebuild tomorrow as well, just for everybody. Anyways, a lot of content on the weekend. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya. And again, shout out to all the members of the channel. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you're not already a member of the channel, you want to become one, maybe click the join button. All the details will be in there. We do a monthly members exclusive rebuild. We also do a couple of random videos here and there in between. We'll probably have a gauntlet video in the next coming weeks. But of course, that members only video will be a little bit later today as well. And yeah, member or not, appreciate y'all for watching, and see ya.